And he knows it was a lie then. He knows that it's a lie now. We love him, in love with him, totally love him. He brought us so much. And he is now ascended. In our traditions, we believe, and I talk about our traditions, our African traditions, that there is a time when a person passes over where they go through a transition from this world into the next. And that it takes a certain number of days. And usually that number of days we believe is 40 days. And so since it's been more than 40 days since our Baba made his transition, we know that he is already ascended. He is already with the ancestors. He is already in his full power. And so we are going to do libation now to welcome him, to thank the ancestors for welcoming him, and to ask him to continue to be with us, to make promises to continue on his work. When we pour libation, we are doing two things. We are acknowledging the ancestors, we're acknowledging the spirits, we're showing our gratitude, and we're also making our request. And we start off by speaking to the energy that made all other energies. And then we talk to Mother Earth and the spirits that are here. And then we speak to the spirits that came here with us as African people, after we acknowledge the spirits that were here with the indigenous people. And then we call on the ancestors, and especially those ancestors that are related to the work that our loved one did on this earth. And then we call on our personal ancestors, because we all have those who have crossed over. And we ask our personal ancestors to accept our Baba, to be with our Baba, and make sure that he had as good a time and that he is as welcome as the good time and welcome he gave to any of us that walked through these doors. And so we're going to begin. I was going to pour here, but there's a trash can here, so that doesn't excite me.
Live plant. Live plant.
All right, so let's do the live plant right here.
This only says a lot about the state of mind right here when you see those white.
All right, so we're going to pour libation. And when we pour libation, when I pour the alcohol, we're using gin. Sometimes people use water, and sometimes I use water. But when we want to talk to the spirits, and we really want to talk to the spirits, we use spirit water, right? We use the spirit. And so that's what we're going to use today. And when I pour, because we're using gin, because we're using actual alcohol, you're going to respond by saying, "Sa." So let me hear that. Sa. Now, when you're saying this, it's like you're saying yes, or word, or right on, right on. So you're adding your energy. So you've got to say it as if you're really adding your energy. There's enough people here, so I should not be louder than you when you say "sa." So let's do that again. Sa. Very good. So I'm going to start off calling to the ancestors, to the creator, to the energies in my native language, which is Tree, Asante. Because you do that in the language that your mother spoke. And that's the language of my mother and my father, but of my mother is what's important here. And then I'm going to change into English so that I can speak the language that most of our mothers here spoke, and you all can understand and join in the prayer. Okay? We call upon all of those ancestors from the beginning of time who are the holders of the culture, who are the guardians of the culture, the griots. Please, our Baba Brian, he is one of you. We're asking that you put him in a high position, an exalted position amongst your ranks, guardians of the culture. I call on you, warriors for our people, those who fought the fiercest, those who had the highest level of knowledge, those who had the highest level of skill. see before you one of you, Baba Brian Gregg, who had the knowledge, who had the skill, who had the spirit, who had the fight of a warrior that should be exalted, that should be sung about, that should be praised in all of our praise songs. And we ask you, please, put him in the most exalted position within your ranks. We call upon you, ancestors, that are the keepers of the spiritual traditions. Our Baba Brian held on to our spiritual traditions, pulled up our spiritual traditions, introduced our traditions to others, spread our spiritual traditions. He is one who walked in the way of his ancestors and walked in the way of life. We ask you, please, to pull him into your most exalted position and have him be there with you. And now we ask our personal ancestors and our community ancestors, and we call them out by name, out loud, each one of us, and ask that those personal ancestors, that those community ancestors, that they bring you in, that they recognize you as the mayor of Leimert Park, that they recognize you in your exalted position as an ancestor who cares for us all, who will care for us even more than he cared for us while he was on earth, if that is even possible. And we ask that you please connect with him, that you be with him, that you hold him up, that you acclimate him, that you allow him to see how he can use his full power, to see how he is risen in power. We ask that you please help him. And we call out the names of our personal ancestors now.
J.E. Brown, James Elijah Brown, Herbert Simmons, Lillian Simmons, Lillian Brown, Lucille Simmons,
we call on all of you, named and unnamed, to hold our Baba up, to put him in the most exalted of positions. For he has ridden in peace, and he has risen in power. Risen in power. Risen in power to be with us here, to be all over the world, to do everything that he wanted to do, to allow us to continue the tradition, to allow us to keep the culture, to allow us to keep our martial arts, bring our martial arts back into our community and make it even greater. Let us do 100-fold what our Baba has done. Let us not let his legacy be in vain. All these things we are asking, all these things we are requesting, knowing that they are already done.
Shay.
Greetings. Here we are. Thank you. So, give thanks. That was beautiful. It was a beautiful pouring of libation. Excuse me. Yes. So, if you're not performing, you can please take a seat, and we will begin some celebration.
Good.
Yes, sir.